Thermite out.
Hello viewers, and today I've got another loadout that you can use in Warzone, and today I'm once again returning to the 3-burst FAL setup. I have in the past done a 3-burst setup for the FAL, but since then it has undergone quite a significant nerf. The headshot damage used to do 100 damage to the head, but now it only does 79 damage. And so I'm going to change a couple of the attachments on this FAL so we can tighten up the grouping of that burst and maybe focus on going for more chest shots rather than headshots. But before I break down those attachments for you and show you the gameplay that I've got with this newly revamped FAL 3-burst, it would be amazing if you could consider subscribing to the channel. I'd try and upload videos like this every single day. I'd try and make them as quirky and as interesting as possible, and if that sounds like something that you really want to watch, then you can subscribe and turn notifications on so you don't miss a future upload. And if you want, you can leave a like, because that really helps me out, because it pushes that YouTube algorithm my way. But if you just want to jump straight into Verdansk, then feel free to pause the video here, because these are the attachments that I'm using. And so, starting off in the muzzle attachment slot, in order to immediately address that tighter grouping that we need in the recoil, we are using the compensator, because this will quite simply reduce the vertical recoil by 27%. This means when we pull the trigger, the initial recoil of the weapon, as it is a burst, can often catch you by surprise, and so you want those bullets to be as tightly grouped as possible on the target. As we have essentially turned this into a little bit of an M16 tactical rifle from the Cold War series of weapons, we do want to make sure that the triage of damage range, bullet velocity and recoil control are as good as they possibly can be. And so in the barrel attachment slot, I'm using the XRK Marksman for that triage of improvements. Because the XRK Marksman will improve the damage range by 22%, it will further reduce that vertical recoil by 15%, and we get a nice and healthy boost to bullet velocity at 33%. But with this quite significant reduction to vertical recoil that we've already achieved with the first two attachments, we don't want to squash that recoil pattern so much so that the end of the barrel is going to be bouncing from left to right when we're frantically firing as fast as we can trying to down the enemy. And so we need to improve the recoil stabilization, and that is the left and right deviation of the end of the barrel. It's also known as horizontal bounce, and the commando foregrip in the underbarrel attachment slot will do the best job at rectifying that for you, because as well as providing an additional 6% to vertical recoil control, it will primarily improve the recoil stabilization, or that horizontal bounce, by 15%, meaning that we get an overall 21% improvement to the accuracy of fully automatic or burst fire. And in order to really make the most of those attachments, we do need a sight that's nice and clear, but we also need the versatility that would naturally come with a burst weapon. In my previous burst setup, I was actually using the flip hybrid. This means I could flip between a 1x holographic and I think it was maybe a 2x scope. But I found that because it added quite a lot of weight, the aim down sight time was quite high, and I'm not going to be really focusing on those super far away targets. And so for this build, I'm going for the PBX Holo 7 sight. It's a really nice and clean sight that's a 1.3x zoom. That means that we can still make the most of the long range attachments for the medium range engagements, but we're still not completely out of touch or out of the fight in the close range engagements. And for the final attachment, the whole point of this loadout, it is the burst perk in the perk attachment slot. Quite simply, this will change the fire mode to a 3-round burst, and you've still got that single fire tap fire for those especially far away targets that you do want to try and hit. But this really does improve the FAL in the short to medium range, because that 3-round burst can really down an enemy quite quickly if you place your targets right. But let me know down in the comments if you do give this FAL a go, and also let me know if you have been around long enough to try out my old FAL 3-burst weapon. I'd love to know what you think of this update, but anyway, let me know if you do give either of them a go nonetheless. And leave a like if you enjoy the video, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thank you very much for watching, and enjoy the gameplay. Right, so the first thing I will say about this FAL, since it has undergone its quite significant nerf really with that headshot damage, is that it definitely is not what it used to be. You'll see in the gameplay that I've got here that it's frustratingly a lot of hit markers, getting some armor breaks, and by, you know, halfway through this match I sort of realised it's almost a support weapon for the teammate that I'm playing with, which is Charlie, my younger brother as usual. And so what I was essentially doing in the end was firing the FAL at the enemy, obviously as you do, but not necessarily with the intention to down them, because it never really was going to be honest, just because the damage output just isn't good enough anymore.
Target appears hostile.
So I was just trying to whittle down the enemy's health, sort of bleed their armour away, and sort of play the long game really. Nice quick scope. Through that thermite, so the that second guy couldn't back away, so Charlie could shoot him in the doorway. We really wanted to get the bounty done here, because if we could get it done now, the shop's literally 15 meters away from us. So if we could get the kill here, even if they just poached it, to be honest, we'd have enough. And there's one guy, but that's not the guy we want. That's a good shot by Charlie. Beat me to the trigger bolt. He's back for more. I thought I'd keep watching the bounty for the last 10 seconds just in case.
Gas is moving. Time expired. We lost the target. Loadout drop headed your way.
Finally redeemed myself with all of those misses. Finally got the loadout though, and there's someone on this train, so testing it out for the first time in this game.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Now you can see with this almost maximum vertical recoil control setup with the compensator, the longest barrel and things like that, the actual kick of the weapon is so high, only the first bullet is really hitting the enemy. And I did mention in the intro actually that you can switch it to single fire, and if you look now you can't. I don't know if they've changed that or if you never could, but I swear I could remember single fire tap firing. I'm sure I did it in my old video. I'm sure one of you that's watched it could let me know down in the comments. Yeah, you can see it's more just suppression really, rather than actual any significant damage. I mean, the actual damage range is good, and the bullet blast is good, but the burst just, it doesn't seem to be any good anymore really, and I quickly realised that.
Enemy dropping into the AO.
See, one hit marker, and then the other two bullets are about probably, what, 1 or 2 meters above their head at that distance, and
All friendlies
better off almost using like a sniper loadout or something. Guy has drops on us though. There he is.
Relocating. Cancel that.
You can see single hit again, then nothing. You can see when the hit marks are coming up. I mean, it's got good bullet travel time. The bullet velocity is definitely up there, but
Eyes on shooter.
this is, you know, I'm beginning to realise
Eyes on shooter.
medium range at best, really.
Eyes on shooter.
Definitely helps that Charlie was using that sniper, because
Hostile spotted.
obviously that's huge damage. So if I can just get, you know, one or two hits, like Charlie down this guy just here, I can get the finish. But unfortunately, as is always the case, I was killed by someone with dead silence.
You're being tracked by an enemy team.
Got back up
Stay
to the
sharp.
tower though for a little bit of Overwatch. Actually, by the time this video is uploaded, a lot of these videos won't actually, a lot of these buildings, sorry, won't be, they won't be upright. I'm yet to actually play the new season, and I'm really excited to give that a go later on. You can see there I did actually get the down, but I think it may be something to do with actually looking down at the enemy. Maybe it's a bit easier to control the recoil. I'm not exactly sure. You can see there's only one hit marker per burst. I need 3 hit markers really.
Gas is moving.
Can't pen the wall either, unfortunately. See, just a single hit. I've no idea how much that's doing. You know, maybe 79 damage at the most, I suppose. But I watched that back in slow motion, that bit, and I cannot believe he got the hit on that because I couldn't see him. Managed to get the revive though, and now the circle's pushed us off Nakatomi. I think that's the name of it anyway, I always forget. And we're gonna make our, I suppose what you'd call a final stand.
Gas is closing in. Relocating the safe zone.
On this
Engaging
rooftop.
shooter.
Someone's gone hiding in there, but it's not much we can do about that.
Single shooter.
Charlie got me down. There's 2 on the hospital, and I don't think they're on the same team, so we're going to keep an eye on both of them. Charlie gets shot from
Gas is
to the
inbound.
left of us, where that white building is. And here they come rushing us. Lovely bit of teamwork there. But I don't think I would have got that down if I was using the FAL then.
Enemy cluster strike incoming. Take cover.
Here we go, this was the second cluster strike we've been up here.
Engaging shooter.
Only 5 remain. Finish the job.
Engaging shooter.
Yeah, as I do often say in the introductions of my videos, I will sometimes use weapons just so you don't have to, and I definitely wouldn't recommend the 3-burst FAL anymore. I actually had really good fun with
Enemy
it before,
cluster
but
strike incoming. Take cover.
this one,
Gas is
it
inbound.
really isn't
Marking
it.
new safe zone.
Explosive charge closing in.
Unfortunately, I had a bit of a panic then when the cluster broke 2 plates of armour. I dropped down and then his teammate got me in a bit of a calamity of errors really, but Anyway, that is the end of the video. We did get a second place, even though I was using what even I would describe as a pretty awful loadout setup now, with all that reduced headshot damage and things like that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.